In this video, we are going to go over some adding and subtracting decimal word problems. Let's begin. So example 1, in the Pacific Ocean, the Philippine Trench is 10.5 kilometers deep. In the Atlantic Ocean, the Brazil Basin is 6.12 kilometers deep. How much deeper is the Philippine Trench than the Brazil Basin? So how much deeper is the Philippine Trench than the Brazil Basin? Let's analyze this sentence right there. How much deeper? Well, how much deeper is basically a comparing. They're like comparing words. They're comparing things. So when they are asking you to compare two different things, it's a clue that you need to subtract. So, for example, if you said, how much faster is Barry than Clark? You're going to be subtracting the two people's speeds. How much taller is Brian than Amy? Well, then you would be subtracting Amy's height from Brian's height. How much smaller is a snail than a turtle? You're going to be subtracting their sizes. How much heavier is an elephant than a dog? You're going to be subtracting. So those are comparing words, like when you're at how much deeper, how much faster, how much slower, how much taller, how much anything. Those are comparing. And when you compare two things, you are going to subtract. So you want to make sure you are looking for comparing words, and that's a hint that you will be subtracting. Anyhow, another word you may see is what's the difference between the two. Again, you're comparing two things, which means you will be subtracting. Let's go back to this question. So now what two things are we going to be subtracting? Well, they talk about the Philippine Trench and how deep that is, and then the Brazil Basin and how deep that is. So 10.05 and 6.12, what are you going to subtract from what? Well, you're always going to subtract the smaller number from the larger number in these cases because, you're going to end up with negative numbers otherwise. So we're going to do 10.05 minus 6.12. And remember, we line up our decimals because when we add or subtract decimals, we have to line them up. All right, 5 minus 2. We're not adding them. So 5 minus 2, that's 3. 0 minus 1, that doesn't equal 1. You have to borrow. So 0 minus 1, you can't borrow from this 0, but you can borrow from this 1, which leaves us with 0. We're going to carry that 1 over, and we got to borrow from that. So now we're left with 9 there. We're going to add a 1 right there, which makes that 10. So 10 minus 1 is 9. Bring down the decimal. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 0 minus nothing is 0. So we don't have to write anything. 3.93. So our answer, what does this answer mean? Well, the answer is that the Philippine Trench is 3.93 kilometers deeper than the Brazil Basin. Let's look at example 2. A team of mountain climbers makes camp at 1.48 kilometers above sea level. They climb another 2.91 kilometers to the mountain's peak. How tall is the mountain? Now, how tall is the mountain? Are they comparing things? Not really. It's not saying how much farther did they go on the second day than the first day. It's just asking how tall the mountain is. And if we want to find how tall it is, we find out how far they went on the first day, and then how far they went on the second day, and then we add them up. So 1.48 plus 2.91. Now, does it matter which one we add first? No. If you put 2.91 on top, you'd still end up with the same answer. So let's add them. 8 plus 1 is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. So bring down the 3, carry over the 1. We're going to bring down the decimal. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. So what's the question? How tall is the mountain? The mountain is 4.39 kilometers tall. All right, let's look at our final example. In the 1900 Olympic Games, the 200-meter dash was won in 22.2 seconds. In 2000, the 200-meter dash was won in 20.09 seconds. How much faster was the winning time? Well, let's look at that question. How much faster? Is it are they comparing something? How much faster is one time? Yes, they are. How much faster? Those are comparing words. So we should subtract. When we compare two things, we need to subtract. So what are we going to subtract? Well, you've got 1900, 200, 2000. Well, let's look at the speeds. So we've got 22.2 seconds and we've got 20.09 seconds. So the bigger number minus the smaller number, 22.2 minus 20.09. And we can add a 0 placeholder right here. It's a good idea when you're subtracting. 0 minus 9, we cannot subtract that because 9's bigger than 0, so we're going to borrow from the 2. That leaves us with 1, and we're going to turn that into 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. Bring down the decimal. 2 minus 0 is 2, and 2 minus 2 is 0, which we don't have to write anything. So 2.11. So the question was, how much faster was the winning time in 2000? The winning time was 2.11 seconds faster. And that's it. That is how you do decimal word problems. Go ahead and try some on your own. Good luck.